Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are talking about everything I've used up in the last couple of months. I am very passionate about using the things that I already have, which can be a challenge to do when you're a beauty creator, when I'm very fortunate and privileged to receive PR, but in a way that makes me feel even more strongly about using up the products that I have and enjoying what I have and not saving the good stuff for a special occasion because beauty products do expire. So I've decided to do empties like every quarter, essentially, like every 3 months this year. And if you are new here, I like to track the number of empties, the number of products that I empty, as well as the total value of my empties. For me, it's just a way of staying in touch with my consumption practices, of the amount of waste that I create, and also making sure that I use up the things that I have. And this is just something that keeps me really motivated. So I'm not going to share every single thing with you today, but I will share the things that inspire strong feelings, either positively or negatively. So far in 2022, I have emptied 38 products with a total value of $1,293 for those 38 products. Full disclosure, there are products that I have received in PR here, and my consumption habits I think would look really different if I were not a beauty creator. I mean, I would obviously still enjoy beauty products, but I would not be purchasing all of these necessarily on my own. So let's jump in, shall we? So the first thing that I want to share, sitting right on top, is the Medicate Liquid Peptides 30% Complex Hydrating Peptide Serum. I think I talked about this in my monthly favorites in February, and this was definitely in my Sunday 6, which is a weekly favorite series that I do on Instagram and on my blog. But this is essentially a hydrating serum. It was a very thick, bouncy gel serum that it obviously has the hydrating properties from hyaluronic acid, but it also packs a punch with peptides. And peptides help with anti-aging, they help with the loss of firmness in the skin, and so when combined with retinoids and a fully balanced skincare diet, they can really help in terms of anti-aging. So I really enjoyed this. I think Medicate do beautiful products. I love their retinols, the crystal retinol. This was my first venture into non-active skincare from Medicate, and I really, really loved this. I think especially dry skins would enjoy this as a hydrating layer because it's not as fluid as some other hydrating serums out there. It has a bit of body. I actually just emptied this yesterday, so I will talk about it now. This is the Stratia Velvet Cleansing Milk. This is a beautiful, gentle cream cleanser. You can use it as your second cleanse. You can use it as your only cleanse. I love this because it is creamy and rich and hydrating. It breaks down makeup and SPF, but it doesn't feel like it leaves a film on the skin. Some cream cleansers are so rich that it feels almost like you're just applying lotion onto the skin and then you have to rinse it off. This is rich and creamy, but it rinses clean, but it also leaves the skin moisturized. Oh my gosh, my cats are running around outside my door. If you hear anything, that's them. Anyway, Stratia is a beautiful indie brand. They are very thoughtfully formulated. They don't have a ton of SKUs. I think this is a very overlooked product in the Stratia line. I know that Liquid Gold is their kind of star product, but I think a lot of skin types would enjoy this. Basically everyone except maybe the most oily. I actually really liked this in the shower. I would even like put it on and then leave it on my skin for a little bit while I would rinse out my hair or something. And because it is so moisturizing, it just feels like your skin is getting that little bit of extra love. Oh gosh, this was a really tragic empty. So this is the Chantecaille Jasmine and Lily Healing Mask. It's very expensive, it's Chantecaille. I think this is around the $100 mark. So I would wait for a sale or something to pick it up. But nothing does what this mask has done for me. So it's a leave-on mask, or you can rinse it off, but I always leave it on. It is a white, creamy mask, but something about this mask, whenever I use it, I wake up with very even, calm, happy, firm, strong skin. So I love this mask when I've overdone it with actives, if I have a little bit of redness or heat in the skin, or it's feeling kind of dull. I just feel like I wake up with even beautiful skin. I don't know what it is. It does leave a white residue on the skin, so it's something you're going to want to rinse off in the morning, or you can tissue it off if you're using it as a wipe off mask. But it's so expensive that I'm like, I want it on my skin as long as possible. And if I were to recommend one Chantecaille skincare item, I think it would be this. It's completely changed my life. And very few skincare products impress me right away. I think that's really hard to do, especially when you try a lot of skincare. But this grabbed me right away. I saw results right away. And it may not be for everyone. Chantecaille does use botanicals. If you're sensitive to those ingredients, you may want to avoid, but for me, it's a total game changer. I've got two products here and I'm going to share them side by side because it's actually very rare that I empty two active products in the same month. So this is the Paula's Choice 2% BHA exfoliating liquid exfoliant. It's 2% salicylic acid. It's something that I use once a week to maintain the appearance of clear pores, to prevent breakouts, to help manage oils. And this is the Peter Thomas Roth AHA BHA Acne Clearing Gel. This is 2% salicylic acid with 10% glycolic. So this I use all over with a cotton pad, and this I used more as a spot treatment. It is, this is the mini size. It's half a fluid ounce and it lasted me like over 2 years, I think. And it's actually perfect because it expired in March, which is when I finished it. It does come in a bigger bottle, but because this is a slightly thicker, tackier gel, it's not something I would use all over the face the way that I do with an exfoliating liquid like this. But this is incredibly effective at targeting cystic acne. I think the combination of glycolic and salicylic helps it penetrate a little bit better, whereas this for me is more about maintenance all over. I finally emptied this cleanser. I think I had been using it for like a year and a half. Granted, I do use other cleansers, so I wasn't exclusively using this, but it's the Youth to the People Kale plus Green Tea Spinach and Vitamins Superfood Cleanser. This is their jumbo size, their 8-ounce size, so that's why it's huge. But the great thing about this is that it's glass and it's refillable. So I think you can buy their refills either on Sephora or on their website. It's a beautiful, slightly foamy gel cleanser that I think is great for normal to oily skin types. It just gives you a really thorough cleanse without stripping the skin, but it does feel like you're getting that really fresh-faced kind of cleanse. I especially love this in the summer as my second cleanse. Then I've got the Wildcat Starflower plus Snow Mushroom Ultra Hydrating Sleeping Mask. This is one that I think dry skin folks especially will love. Well, there's nothing in here, but it's a very, very rich, creamy, overnight mask. It has the texture almost of like marshmallow fluff, not the stickiness, but the density. And it's a really effective, occlusive layer to pack in moisture at the end of a PM skincare routine. So I really love Wildcat. I think they do great skincare. They also do very affordable, approachable skincare. Everything's, I think, under the $20 mark, maybe 25, but just a really great price point. They're at Ulta, and I really enjoyed this sleeping mask, especially in the winter. This was a very sad empty. This was in my 2021 favorites, as were quite a few things that I mentioned, actually. I'll link that video in the cards. So this is the U Beauty Super Smart Hydrator, and this is called a moisturizer. I would characterize it almost as an emulsion because it's a very, very hydrating but fluid texture. So it's almost like a liquefied cream that comes out in a pump, but it just creates the most beautiful moisturizing barrier on the skin. I also think this is something that dry skin types will love because it almost feels like it's creating a seal around your skin. And it's got these beautiful plant butters and rich emollients, but it doesn't feel oily to touch. It just feels like it's coating the skin in this beautiful barrier. And it's very much a barrier supporting product. And if you're normal to oily, this may be enough for you as your moisturizer. Whereas with dry skin, this might be a layer underneath a richer cream. I somehow only have one sunscreen. I think there was another and I tossed it because I knew this was in here. This is the Isntree Hyaluronic Acid Watery Sun Gel. I've talked about this so many times. It's one of my favorite Korean SPFs, favorite SPFs period. You know I love it because I cut the tube open to scoop everything out and then I like shoved the top back on. But it's a great sunscreen, broad spectrum protection, all chemical filters, no white cast, and very hydrating. Ooh, I have the Inkey List Hyaluronic Acid, which is a great, affordable, under $10 hyaluronic acid. It's a very simple formula. It's just straight up hyaluronic acid, which is why the price point is so approachable. This is a very hydrating formula with no bells and whistles, so there's no additional ingredients. It's just straight up hyaluronic acid. But if you're just looking to add hydration into a routine, I think this is a nice reminder that you don't have to spend a lot of money to get hydration and pack it into your skin. You can use this as a hydrating layer. I think even oily skins might just be able to use this and get enough hydration because it is on the slightly thicker side of hyaluronic acid serums. I did find this to be a touch sticky and tacky. It's not the most cosmetically elegant hyaluronic acid, let's just say. But for the price point, it absolutely does its job and it does its job very well. Let's get into some body care. I have the Mio Heavenly Body Purifying Scrub. I loved the smell of this scrub and I think for the price point, I think it's around $23. This thing was huge. It's 9.7 ounces. So it lasted me a really long time. It smells like eucalyptus. It's super fresh and sharp and green. And in terms of it being a salt scrub, it was a pretty fine grained salt. So it wasn't a really abrasive, harsh salt scrub. It was on the softer side, which made me feel like it wasn't so intense to use. Some salt scrubs are so harsh on the skin that I almost feel like I'm like getting little cuts on my skin. But this one was very pleasant and it lasted forever. And it was the kind of texture that I could continue to scrub into the skin without feeling like it was dissolving right away. It kind of stuck around and really stuck to the body as I was using it. Here's another 2021 favorite. This is the Eczema Honey Skin Soothing Cream. So I've talked about this a few times before. It's a very rich amber colored, honey colored cream that I used for my décolleté. So I am eczema prone and redness prone on my décolleté, and I would slather this over my regular unscented body lotion. And I did feel like it really helped support my skin barrier. It helped prevent any potential flare-ups while I was using it. And I don't have it in my routine now, but I do notice that I don't have it. I feel like my chest feels a little bit more sensitive, a little bit more redness prone. So I do want to go repurchase this at some point. If you have sensitive skin, if you have eczema, it's a great option. It contains honey as well as colloidal oatmeal. It is a little bit sticky, so it's something that I would always use at night before bed to let it fully sink into the skin. I would not apply this and then get dressed and go out for the day. Two body care products that are kind of on opposite ends of the spectrum texturally. So this is the Necessaire Body Serum. I've talked about this before. It's a serum for your body and it's uber hydrating. It feels very weightless. It sinks in really quickly and it's really big. It's 5.1 ounces. It comes with a pump. I also think this contains niacinamide, so it's great for evening your skin tone. If you are someone who hates body lotion, but you still need body hydration, this would be a great option for you. I've also heard people use this for their face because it's unscented, it's hydrating, it has great skincare ingredients. I have not used it that way, but you totally could. And if you did use it for the face only, it would last you forever because again, it's 5.1 ounces. On the richer end of the spectrum, this is the Josie Maran Whipped Argan Pro Retinol Body Butter, smooth plus firm. So I love the Josie Maran body products. I think their body butters are some of probably my favorite body butter texture. They're rich, but they're not sticky and they're not hard to spread out across the skin. So they sink in really quickly and they give you deep moisture without leaving a tacky residue behind on the skin. And they're just texturally really pleasant to use, which I feel like some body butters are not. Sometimes they can be difficult to spread across the skin and they don't sink in very nicely. These always do. I'm using their one for sensitive skin right now, their intensive repair one. I just talked about it in my Sephora favorites, but yeah, all of their body butters are beautiful. Another body care favorite for sensitive skin or eczema is the Skin Smart Antimicrobial Eczema Therapy Cleanser Spray. So basically this has hypochlorous acid that essentially, I think, works as a natural antibacterial to help prevent any potential outbreaks of eczema. I don't know exactly how it works, but it does work for me very, very well. So when I get out of the shower, I spray this across my décolleté. If I have any areas of sensitivity, I'll even spray this on my face. And it just feels like water. It's a watery texture. It sinks in really quickly, but it helps support the skin barrier and helps prevent eczema outbreaks. I also think the Tower 28 SOS Mist contains hypochlorous acid. I love that one too, and it's a more pure form of hypochlorous acid. This one contains water, sodium chloride, and hypochlorous acid, so it's a bit more watered down. But I find them to be both very effective. This is just the one that I was using. I've got a few makeup items. So the first item is the Refi Brow Sculpt. I loved this stuff. I still love this stuff. This is kind of like a brow pomade more than a brow gel. It has a white texture and a white, it's like a white paste. I don't know if you can see that. I really like this for creating a natural brow texture, but also creating a laminated look. For me, it's not the most long-lasting laminated look, but when I use this to fluff up the brows and then I go over it with a clear brow gel, then my brows are like glued down all day long. That's a bit high maintenance for many people, I realize that, but for me, it's just something that I really like. It's the kind of look that I enjoy. I do have a backup of this that I have not opened yet, but I definitely will use that one up too. It also comes with a dual-sided comb/brush. I will say the packaging on this was not very durable. I'm surprised I even have this cap because it's cracked in like 5 places. It barely stays on, but that's my one complaint with this product. I do think it has a learning curve. I've talked about how I use this on Instagram in an IG Reels, so maybe I'll link that below because I know a lot of people have issues with like dandruffy looking white stuff in their brows, and I think there is a particular way to use it for the best results. I have the Rare Beauty mascara, their Perfect Strokes mascara. I love this stuff. I am picking up a repurchase of this in the Sephora sale. I find this to be really lengthening, really fluttery. It's volumizing, but it doesn't weigh my lashes down. It does keep my lashes lifted all day and it's water resistant. I just think this was like an absolute home run for them. It might actually be my favorite Rare Beauty product. I have 3 lip balms, which I think is like an abnormal amount of lip balms for one person to go through, but I love lip balm. I'm someone who applies it and reapplies it all the time. I just need to have it on hand. So I really liked all of these. The first one is one I've talked about many times. It's the Fresh Sugar Blood Orange Hydrating Lip Balm in their jar. So these come in a bunch of fruity scents. This was a limited edition one, I think. It's blood orange, and I'm really sad it was because it smells so good. Fresh just has a way of capturing fruity scents, but the real version of fruit, not the artificial sickly candy kind. This smells really fresh and juicy, and it has that depth of a blood orange. And I'm really sad it's gone. Fresh, please make this permanent. I loved the blood orange version. Then I've got the Laneige Lip Glowy Balm in the scent Grapefruit. I also love the Laneige Lip Sleeping Mask. As you know, this is a lighter version of the sleeping mask. It's like a liquefied balm that comes in the squeezy tube. You've got the plastic applicator, and it's also very glossy. So it's kind of nice for like a no makeup look if you just want a bit of shine on the lips, and it's also very hydrating as well. This last lip balm really surprised me. So this is the Facile Skin Lip Jelly, and Facile actually is where I go to get skincare treatments. They're in LA, in West Hollywood, and Pasadena, and they recently came out with their own skincare line, and they sent over their products to me. I've been slowly testing them, and I've really been enjoying them. They're at a great price point. They're in the $20 to $30 mark. This lip jelly is actually $12 or $15. It's so good. So it's the closest thing that I can compare to the Fit Glow Beauty Night Lip Serum. They both have this grippy quality to them that doesn't feel just like a lip mask or like any other liquefied lip balm. It actually seems to grip onto your lips, and so it has longevity. Even if you're drinking something, I mean, it obviously won't stay on as well, but it has this way of sealing moisture into the lips. And I really found that this did that for me. I emptied it, and I already have another one in rotation just because I liked it that much. And it also gives the lips a bit of shine. This one is completely clear, it's untinted, so it's great with or without makeup, but it's the kind of thing that I would even use like as an overnight lip treatment because it's that moisturizing. I've got the Milani Weekend Brow in the shade Espresso, which is my favorite brow pen. If you're scared of using brow pens, that they're too inky or too pigmented or too intense, this is the one you want. It has a really sharp brush tip. It gives you a very crispy, precise brow stroke that looks like real brow hairs, but it's not overly juicy or overly pigmented. It's just the perfect tone. My shade is Espresso. It's amazing. I've gone through like 4 of these. I've given them away to friends, and it's affordable. It's at the drugstore, under $10. A couple of hair bits to close things out. I have the Briogeo Be Gentle, Be Kind Matcha and Apple Food Replenishing Superfood Shampoo and Conditioner. I love these mostly for the scent. The kale and apple scent is really fresh. It's very green and yummy. I think the shampoo does a great job of cleansing, and it also lathers really nicely. It's not the most hydrating. It's not the most purifying. It's just a great middle of the road line. The conditioner also I find to be not too rich, not too light. Sometimes I do wish it were a little bit better at detangling. It's not the most detangling conditioner, but I really use these because they smell good and for the sensory experience. So I just enjoy the ritual of using them. And I think this is one of my favorite Briogeo scents that they do. And then I have the newest addition to my hair care routine, which is the K18 Leave-In Molecular Repair Hair Mask. This is a controversial product because it takes time to see the effects of it. You have to give it about 4 or 5 washes before you really start to see results. You use this in your wet hair and you don't use conditioner, which sounds crazy. It sounded like the worst idea ever to me as someone with long hair, but now I love it because my hair wash time is cut in half. I just shampoo and I get out. I put my hair up in my Aquas towel until it's partly dried, and then I take a pump or two of this, I work it through my hair, let it sit, and then you brush it through after about 5 minutes. This does for me what I wanted Olaplex to do, in that I actually feel a transformation in my hair texture. My hair is bleached at the ends, it's color treated, and I am prone to breakage because of that. And this actually makes my hair feel stronger, it feels softer, it feels silkier, it looks shinier, and overall, it just, something clicked. Like 2 or 3 times after I used this, I blow dried my hair one day and I was just like, whoa, my hair feels so soft and touchable in a way that it hadn't in a really long time. So it's an investment, but if you are someone who is maybe feeling desperate for something to repair your hair, I would try this. They also come in minis. It's a small amount that's very expensive. This bottle is $75, but it has, I think, 25 uses or something in it, because you really only need a pump, maybe more, even for long hair like mine. It does come in a mini option, which is a really nice way to try the formula. Just want to note that because I think people see the quantity. It's 1.7 ounces and they get really confused why it costs so much, but it's really because you only need a little bit at a time. And the last thing is my favorite dry shampoo. It's the Living Proof Perfect Hair Day Advanced Clean Dry Shampoo. This is their more intense version of their original dry shampoo, which I also love, but I think this does a better job of making the hair look and feel clean for longer. This is like my heavy duty dry shampoo on like day 4 hair. So those are my empties highlights. $1,300 worth of empties. There are obviously things that I didn't show you because I don't need to give you 38 reviews all at once. That's a lot. But before I close out, I actually want to talk about some products that I am incorporating into a project pan. So I was talking to Sandra, TT Sandra here on YouTube. She is an amazing project panner. Sandra emptied a cream blush. I don't know anyone who like fully empties cream blushes, and she's emptied a powder blush. Like, she's just very impressive and diligent and thorough. And I admire her commitment to her project pan. I decided I would join her this year, but like project pan light, because I think I rotate through products a lot more and I'm more easily prone to new product temptation. So I'm joining Sandra in like a project pan light with 5 items that I think / know I can empty through the rest of the year. These are all pretty much makeup products. So the first item is the Chanel Le Beige Water Fresh Tint. As you can see, I'm very close to emptying it, which is why I included it, because I want to succeed at Project Pan and not fail. I love this stuff. It's a watery serum with pigment bubbles in them that burst as you rub them into the skin. Rose Inc. also just came out with a similar formula that I haven't tried, but I can say I love this one. It just creates the lightest veil of skin evening and like almost like a filter over the skin. It's not going to cover up blemishes. It's not going to cover up pigmentation. It just kind of evens over the skin tone and skin texture to give you like this really beautiful no makeup luminous skin look. I don't know how else to describe it. I apply it with fingers or with a brush, and I definitely know I can empty this. The next item is the Armani Power Fabric Concealer in the shade number 5. This is my longtime favorite concealer love. I do have a new concealer love in my life, which is the Dior Backstage Concealer, but that's why I need to commit to finishing this. I just don't want to let this expire before I actually use it up, especially because it is a formula that I love, that I think is beautiful. It's a very flexible, stretchy formula. A little bit stretches out a really long way, and it gives you a beautiful, natural skin-like finish. I can't say enough good things about this. I've emptied it like 4 or 5 times already. So I know I can use this up, and I want to make sure that I do, even though I have new products coming into my life. The other item is the Milani Weekend Brow. I actually didn't realize I had one in my empties already. This is the newer one that I'm using, but I also want to commit to using this because I have a few new brow products in rotation. So I don't want this to get lost, and I don't want to forget that there's a formula that I really love that I have, and I want to use that before it dries out or something. So again, my weekend brow love is very strong. The next thing is much more utilitarian. It's an eye primer, and it's the Hourglass Veil Eye Primer. I think this product is very good. It's a very effective eye primer. I don't talk about it much because I have kind of mixed feelings when it comes to Hourglass. I feel like I've been waiting and waiting for them to catch up in terms of shade range and inclusivity, especially for their face palettes. And I know they made an effort this last year for their holiday releases, but overall I haven't seen that too much as a priority from the brand, and I haven't shopped from them in a while, which is a shame because I do really like their products. But this is almost probably more than halfway empty. And again, this is a project that's about using what I already have. And sometimes you already have things from brands that you might feel kind of tepid about at the moment. So I do want to commit to using this up, especially because as an eye primer, it's very good. It creates a really nice base for my eyeshadows. I do have other primers that I love. I love the Urban Decay Primer Potion, the original. I love the Milk Makeup Hydro Grip Eye Base. That's a newer one in my life, but I want to make sure that I do finish this up. And the last thing is a lip mask. So this is the Fresh Sugar Advanced Therapy Lip Mask. So this is the lip mask version of their lip balm that comes in a tube. It smells amazing. It has that lemony, fresh scent. It almost smells like lemon pound cake or like lemon drizzle cake. This is a really rich night mask. It's a little bit waxy, which I actually like because I feel like that texture really sticks to the lips versus something that's really kind of melty and ooey gooey. This actually hydrates and moisturizes my lips overnight. So I'm about, let's see, like a third of the way through this. There's quite a bit left, but I think if I use this regularly every night for the rest of the year, I probably could empty it. So I'm including this in my Project Pan Light. That's everything for me today. That's $1,300 of empties, 38 empty products, a bunch of product reviews, and 5 items in my Project Pan Light. So if you're working through any product in your own project pan, I would love to hear. I always like to hear if people are tracking their own empties or what you're working on emptying. So let me know in the comments, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.